Before the season, I was on record saying I felt like Nicco Marchiol was the way to go for the Virginia Mountaineers going forward. This video is going to be about me admitting that I was wrong. Garett Greene is the future at quarterback for West Virginia. We're going to talk a little bit more about that right after this word from our sponsor. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come on in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. I've finally gotten almost all the way over the bronchitis, the crud, strep throat. I had it all. My speaking voice, I wasn't able to do anything with it because of those blisters that were just laying, that seemed like right on my vocal tract. Thankfully, those have mostly gone away. I can't go for long periods yet. It seems like they're still trying to heal up a bit, but I can get on here and talk about something I've been kind of itching to talk about a little bit because, listen, before the season, it's no secret. I said I felt like for the future of the program, Nicco Marchiol had higher upside. And I felt like he was less vulnerable than Garett because Garett Greene, obviously, he has been injury prone. And that still is something that if I had to have one fear for this, it would be that. It's his health. I think he can be injury prone based on the offense we run and just his relative size. I don't think there's anything crazy to say about that. So what's changed my mind? Well, the way Garett's being used in this offense is something that I envision being extremely difficult to prepare for. You remember before, the first couple games with Garett, we literally handed the football off every play. And if it wasn't something with Garett, he would look at the first option and then run. And so what Neal has done here is he's made things easier for Garett. They're only giving him about 1 to 2 reads. He's not going through a bunch of progressions. That's just not his strength yet. Next year, that will be a strength of his as well, and they'll be able to fold that in the offense as well. So, but what they're doing is they're letting him, obviously, because our running game is so strong, they're basing everything off of the RPO, and they're allowing Garett to go through 1, 2 reads and then have a run off of those reads as well. So there's almost 3 plays designed in one. There is the initial handoff and pass or run scenario. Then there is, once he drops back to throw, there's an additional, what they call a scramble drill that they practice for Garett. And this is something that makes him uniquely difficult to prepare for because when the team, like the Devin Carter touchdown is a great example. He rolls out to his left, out beyond Wyatt Milam. Everybody kind of lets go who they're pass pro with. And then Devin Carter rolls with Garett, right? And they score that touchdown. They practice that, though. That's not something that just happens off the cuff. It's not like in your backyard. So those 3 things combined make them extremely difficult to deal with. Now, I have an article from Skylar Callahan that kind of echoes some sentiments that I really believe. And then my good friend Coos sent me some stuff today, too, that he thought would help out this video. So we're going to go with that. So this is from Skylar Callahan over at SportsIllustrated.com, West Virginia. Sunday morning thoughts. Garett Greene is going to be a star. Final analysis from West Virginia's win over UCF. Now, you may have already read this. I have just been sick, and I'm just now getting around to this, as I said earlier. No, his numbers aren't eye-popping, and no, he's not one of the top quarterbacks in the country. But West Virginia's quarterback, Garett Greene, has the makings of turning into a star quarterback over time. Because he exited the backyard brawl with an ankle injury and missed the Texas Tech game, Greene only played 1 full game, Penn State, through the first month of the season. Over the last 3 weeks, we're So we've seen number 6 carry the offense, and if you're Neal Brown, it's a beautiful sight to see. After having pocket passers operating the offense for the first 4 years of his tenure, Brown finally has someone back there that can evade pressure and make something out of nothing. It also makes the offensive line look a whole lot better because they're not giving up nearly as many sacks with him running the show. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of room for Garett Greene to improve, but he's well on his way to being a really good college quarterback. Is he going to be a top 10 signal caller in the country next year? Probably not. I'm not going to put the ceiling on the kid. I just know you can win a bunch of football games with him as your quarterback. Next season, Greene will have a full year of starting under his belt and will have developed a strong chemistry with the young receivers on the roster that will be returning in more prominent roles. Factor in the dynamic trio of running backs that West Virginia has, and all of a sudden, this team looks like it's building towards something, at least on paper. Greene is a fighter and as tough as nails, in a lot of ways reminiscent of Skylar Howard, just more athletic. And if you can recall, Howard won 10 games for the Mountaineers. He was the last mobile quarterback for West Virginia, which actually I think Will Grier falls into that category. He was mobile. Had in his full first 4 years as a starter, he went 8-5. He started the tail end of the 2014 season, similar to how Greene took over for JT Daniels at the end of last year. With the remaining schedule the Mountaineers have, BYU, Oklahoma, Cincinnati, and Baylor, reaching 8 wins is certainly within reach, especially if you throw the bowl game in there. What makes Greene really stand out is his ability to protect the ball. Sure, he'll make a bonehead decision every now and then. College quarterback doesn't. He's thrown 2 picks this season, and you can't even blame one of those because they bounced right off Jalen Anderson's chest into a Houston defender. It was a well-thrown ball. But the main point I'm trying to get across here is WVU can accomplish things with Garett Greene that it hasn't been able to do in nearly a decade. He has the it factor. And I agree with pretty much everything he said there. Garett Greene's probably never going to be a big stats guy, although he could grow into that. I still think there's certain things you can't ask Garett Greene to do. If you put Garett Greene and said, I'm going to make you a pocket passer, and I'm going to ask you to do everything that JT Daniels was asked to do last year, there are just some throws that Garett is not extremely good at just yet from within the pocket. And that's okay. He doesn't have to be. You look at a guy, I kind of look at what could he turn into? Well, Jackson Dart at Ole Miss is somebody I think that he could turn into something like that. Jackson Dart's going to be an NFL quarterback and can make the pocket throws. But what they do with him at Ole Miss, they move him around a bunch. They use the RPO game, and he's an extremely good quarterback. Somebody we almost got and would have loved to have seen what we could have done with him, but we have somebody almost as good, and that's Garett Greene. So I want to ask you guys a question, though, today. Is Garett Greene the most dangerous quarterback in the league? Certainly, there are some pretty dangerous guys in the league right now. But there is no Jalen Hurts in this league right now, right? There's no Kyler Murray, and I mean, these sound like they're all Oklahoma quarterbacks. There's no Spencer Saunders, right? There's a few good quarterbacks in the league. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel, probably in the conversation. Obviously, there's a couple quarterbacks in the conversation. But for what West Virginia asked Garett Greene Company to do, I think you can make the argument Garett Greene is right now one of the most dangerous players in the league. Had you told me that was going to be the case before the season, I would have said you're crazy. He's too injury prone, and he gets on his first read, and that's it. And they really catered this offense around him. Give Neal Brown and company huge credit, guys. I know everybody wants Neal Brown fired, or most people still do. But if you don't watch football, if you don't know anything about X's and O's, I'll tell you how I'll know. You'll say that Neal Brown is not doing a good job right now on the offensive side of the ball. Because from where this team was at Penn State to where they are now, there's been exponential growth. And you look at a guy like Rodney Gallagher, the guys they've gotten involved. Obviously, he's been brave enough to bench C.J. Donaldson there for a little while, and things he hasn't done in the past. He's always stuck with his starters for a while, basically for the entire season in a lot of scenarios. So Neal has changed and done things. I think that they really helped this offense. Putting Gene White in and getting him some carries and building him up little by little, I think is a great idea. And I'm looking forward to seeing where he can go as well. Obviously, there's a change of pace to CJ. So, Koo sent me some stuff, and I wanted to show you guys this before we get off here. This is from Koo's on our Facebook Messenger. Garett Greene right now in the country, fifth in yards per carry, 46th in points responsible per game, 22nd in QBR, 12th in interception percentage, 22nd in rushing touchdowns. And as he said, these are nationally. So Garett Greene is backing it up. And what I had ever thought that. So I was wrong. And I'm not afraid to admit that I was wrong. I'm actually happy I was wrong. We have a solution, it seems, at quarterback as long as he stays healthy, guys. My only caveat with Garett is I've never really, it wasn't that I didn't believe in him. I just thought he was going to take longer to develop than he has. He's moved along much faster than I thought he was going to. It's just trying to click for him a little bit. And he's got some confidence. Now, my main issue is still the injury proneness. He still gets nicked up. We saw it again last week, the ankle, and it scares me because we just have nothing behind him at this point in time that is going to be as ready as he is. We're going to go back to handing the ball off a bunch, although Nicco hopefully should be a little bit more ready to roll. And maybe Nicco could, by the end of the year, if something crazy happened, be pretty good. But man, we're on. It's possible for us to win 9 games this year. If we lose the Oklahoma game or one of the other, maybe we beat Oklahoma, but I think we can get out of this thing 3-1. And if that happens, you're looking at 8 wins in a bowl game, possibly 9 wins. That's excitement coming back in the next year with Garett Greene and company coming back. That's NIL money for Neal Brown, hopefully, to get some better players in here. And just an exciting offseason for us all. We all need to be rooting for this to happen, guys. I know there are those of us that don't want Neal Brown back. I'm not one of those people right now. I want to see him succeed. I do. I want this team to stick together. I think we have a really good nucleus, those linebackers. And all they would have to do is fill in some positions on the lines and in the secondary, linebackers a little bit here and there, just like every team every year. So I think this wouldn't be a full rebuild. It would actually be a carryover. So it's something I think we all need to root for and give Neal one more season, especially with what we have coming back. That's what I'm rooting for anyway. Obviously, we would have to keep some of the players and see how that works out. Let me know how you feel about it all, though, guys. I've been itching to get back behind the camera here and talk to you guys. I missed it, as always. This is what I love to do. So drop a comment below. Let me know how you feel about that. Let me know how you feel about Garett Greene. Do you feel like he is the most dangerous quarterback in the league right now? Do you feel like he's finally figured it out a little bit at West Virginia? Or do you have apprehension about him? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as always. And if you can't do any of those things, guys, hit the like button. Just move your finger a couple inches. Hit the like button. It means the world. It tells YouTube that people like my videos. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you for sticking with me while I was sick. Sorry I didn't put much out. I'll be doing more this week. Obviously, we're waiting on the Raekwon battle announcement, hopefully from Morrissey tomorrow. I have a big guest coming on Friday on the Hoops from the Hills channel, guys, with governorial candidate Chris Miller, who also sponsors this show through Dutch Miller. So that'll be something exciting to look forward to. That'll be something exciting to look forward to. Hope you guys will be there for that as well. Thank you guys for joining me. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. This episode is over. I am out.